Corlin, Minister. I very much welcome the opportunity to speak on this State Airports Bill 2014. And while the bill is called the State Airports Shannon Group Bill, it does have an impact on wider airports than just Shannon and Shannon Airport. And the bill impacts on all three state airports and the workers at these airports, and in particular Cork Airport. In speaking of this bill, I would like Lasky Court to concentrate and to use the opportunity to concentrate on a few issues, including the pension provisions that Deputy Coppinger mentioned for workers, the impact of the changes in the ownership structures of the state airports, and on the future and on the potential of Cork Airport. The issue of the pensions has been one that has been raised by many people working in Cork Airport with me, and they are very concerned about the pension scheme. And as you know well, Minister, last March it was reported that the scheme had a deficit of almost 769 million, and everybody, I think if we're honest, acknowledges that this is not a sustainable position, and it is of grave concern to those who worked for years to think that they had a secure pension to look forward to retirement, and perhaps not there now. And the Minister has informed us that the expert panel was established to carry out an investigation of how a financial resolution of the industrial relations issue relating to the pensions scheme could be secured. And I do know that the expert panel has consulted with various parties, including representatives of employees, and that it has made recommendations that need to be considered in detail. And I think it is important that we must acknowledge also, Minister, that just because an expert panel makes a recommendation, it doesn't mean that the concerns of the workers has been or have been adequately addressed, and it does not mean also that they have been reassured about the future of their pensions. Everybody accepts and agrees that the difficulties with the pension scheme poses very serious challenges, and that any solution must balance the interests of employees, pensioners, deferred members and employers. It is absolutely important and vital that certainty is provided for those who will rely on the pension scheme to provide for their future income. And I would ask you, Minister, to ensure that you remain vigilant on this issue, that after this bill goes through this House, that you might ensure that there is continued dialogue between all parties on the issue of pensions. One of the main parts of this bill, Lasky and Corla, is in relation to Part 5, which relates to the restructuring of the various airport companies. And Section 30 deals with the Cork Airport Authority plc. And this section provides for the dissolution of the Cork Airport Authority, and it also gives power to reincorporate that authority again at a later date, which I welcome. This move reflects the reality of the situation in which Cork Airport has found itself since the enactment of the State Airports Act in 2004. And how we remember the former government's great proud boast that Cork would be debt-free in 2004, and that it would be envisaged then that Cork would be separated from the other state airports, but for a variety of reasons this hasn't happened, and at this juncture it isn't immediately realisable. And since 2004 Cork Airport Authority has been sitting there. Effectively it has been a shelf company. Although that company had a board of sorts, it had little autonomy, and the reality was it was operating under the group of another company. And I want to commend the Minister for his initiative regarding this, and I'll come back to that in a minute, and for being, unlike the previous government, a lot more proactive on this issue regarding Cork Airport. And we heard a lot of rhetoric from the previous government regarding the provision of a new terminal building, but there was false promises, false rhetoric, which have now come home to roost in the context of Cork Airport. And dissolving Cork Airport in the context of the reality of public policy since 2004 makes sense. I don't think there's any point in having a company in place for the sake of it. It is in the interest of the airport and of the region in regard to Cork that the management and the operational structures in place facilitate the day-to-day activities of the airport and the ability of the airport to grow. There is no point having a company in place which is the relic of an outdated policy which has long been left behind. I welcome that the Minister has allowed for the Cork Airport Authority to be re-established at a later date, as per Section 31, and when the time comes that it may be financially feasible for Cork Airport to be a separate entity, when the airport has the commercial viability to operate on its own, then the Cork Airport Authority, I hope, could be re-established. When the Minister took office, he conducted a comprehensive review of aviation policy and restructured our state airports. This decision effectively spun off, in terms of Shannon Airport, from the airport group, making it an independent airport that could compete against the other two state airports. The decision was taken considering the detailed overall picture, both historic and future, facing all three airports. The decision recognised the business opportunities, the opportunities for growth, and at the various airports, as well as the financial challenges that were present at the time. The result of this decision has been an independent Shannon Airport, and it has continued to leave Cork Airport operating under the umbrella of the DAA. Now we have a situation that the second busiest airport in the country, Cork Airport, has now to compete against Shannon, while not having the same freedom to make commercial decisions that could, in my opinion, enhance its own business and its own business case. And I fully accept the reasons for not making Cork an independent airport. The two most significant reasons being the airport's operating costs exceeding its revenue, and that the level of debt from the new terminal building, as I said, puts the airport in a very difficult position. In the short term, so that the issue of debt can be addressed and that the pension difficulties can be resolved, this was, I believe, the correct decision. However, the decision has been made. The climate in which Cork Airport continues to operate is a difficult one, and this can be seen by the number of new routes that has opened at Shannon at a time when similar numbers of new routes has not opened at Cork. And despite Cork Airport having proximity to a much larger population, the politics of this decision within the aviation sector has meant that one prominent airline has been slow to consider Cork for new routes, and this at a time, Minister, when Cork has a roads infrastructure allowing people to travel to Cork from Portlaoise or from Dublin perhaps faster and better than going to Dublin Airport from areas around the Munster area. Minister, I have outlined some of the challenges facing Cork Airport. Unfortunately, these can be seen in the continued decline in passenger numbers. And last year, Cork Airport welcomed 2.3 million passengers through the airport. This was a decline of 3.5% in the previous 12 months, a trend that has continued for too many years. And I want to welcome the appointment of Dáil McCarthy as the CEO. He has shown to be a breath of fresh air in Cork. And I do hope, despite the fact that he may have difficulties at times with his staff in bringing about change, I do hope, Minister, that he can, as the CEO of Cork Airport, bring about a new dawn for Cork Airport, because they have been, in a collective manner in Cork Airport, staff and management, working hard to return passenger numbers to growth and are actively engaged with airlines to bring this about. Now, I want to commend them for that. And while the airport has challenges, it is important to put on record that a number of route options are available. Last year, 16 airlines served 54 separate routes. The 5 scheduled airlines, Aer Lingus Regional, Ryanair, Jet2Com, Wizz Air, offered a total of 44 scheduled destinations from Cork last year. And over the last 8 years, only once were there more scheduled routes available from Cork, and that was 2008. I also want to highlight, last Corner, the excellent customer service available at Cork Airport. Last year, Cork Airport was ranked as the world's best regional airport for customer service by both business and leisure travellers. The airport came first for overall customer satisfaction in the Global Airports Quality, the ASQ regional survey of passengers carried out on behalf of the Airports Council International. This is an achievement that I believe needs to be broadcast widely, and it was only possible because of the efforts of the management and staff at Cork Airport, and for this they must be congratulated. When passengers use Cork Airport, they have a great experience, but for many the difficulties before they even get to the airport. The decision not to use Cork is often down to a lack of route options. The lack of options can be seen when you look at a map of Europe. There are no direct flights to Madrid or northern Spain, Rome or southern Italy, Germany apart from Munich, Denmark, Scandinavia, Austria, Switzerland and the vast majority of Eastern European countries. The fact that huge swathes of Europe are not available or directly accessible from our second city, from our second busiest airport, is a major concern. But an even more concern, Minister, is the fact that we now have no direct link between Cork and Dublin. And I still don't buy the argument given by those involved in the industry regarding the lack of that flight service. We are aware of the challenges for Cork Airport, but we must set out to have a way forward that is positive. I want to again welcome the Minister's decision to establish a new high-level stakeholder body, the Cork Airport Development Council. This will provide a forum for stakeholders from a range of sectoral and geographic backgrounds who have an interest in the development of Cork Airport to engage with the management at the airport and to help contribute to traffic and to route growth. The initiative has the support of the business community in Cork. Indeed, it was part of a 10-year master plan for the airport published by the Cork Chamber of Commerce last January. I do believe, Minister, the plan for now, needs to be one centred on development. The Development Council remit, I would hope, would be one to include the creation of a long-term plan to develop Cork Airport, and I would hope that that would be given consideration. The group, Minister, that you established, the Cork Airport Development Council, has representatives from organisations such as Fall to Ireland, the Cork Chamber of Commerce, and even from EMC, among others, will ensure that local views will contribute to the future development of the airport so that it meets the tourism and business needs of the region, and it will ultimately benefit the economy of the entire Cork region and indeed the wider national economy, in my view. The first item that this group should focus on is expanding the air connectivity available from Cork. In looking at this, a priority must be developing air links with key international hubs with flights at different times that suit business and business people. We must protect in tandem with this and develop key routes such as Heathrow, Gatwick, Amsterdam, Paris, Frankfurt, Munich and Rome. But again, I stress, perhaps more importantly, Dublin. Despite the fact that we have a very good road link, I do believe that an air transport link is very important. Having this range of flight options ensures that passengers using Cork Airport for both business and tourism can get direct flights to key international hubs, which enable them to link the destinations across the globe. And that's why Heathrow is so important in the Cork context. Focusing on these routes will enable Cork businesses to grow and expand internationally, and it will benefit the international schools in UCC, in CIT, and many leading international businesses, both from the pharma and also from the IT industry and also from the tourism sector. There is a challenge, Minister, that we must look at in the context of Cork Airport, which is that of transatlantic flights. It would be a huge addition. It isn't just pie in the sky if it could be delivered to Cork. We have met and spoken with, when I was on the regional authority with Nova Scotia. Having links to the USA and to Canada should be a medium-term goal for the airport. And given the population base of the region and the large number of multinational businesses located in Cork, there is a demand for these services, in my opinion. Regrettably, the challenges facing Cork Airport are compounded by the high level of debt that the airport carries. An article in the Irish Examiner by Joe Gill on the 9th of April summed up the situation very well when he wrote, "In the same way that puppies are not just for Christmas, expensive airport terminals are in place for decades and carry with them residual borrowings." We can't escape that fact. But in saying that, all parties involved in Cork Airport must continue to explore ways to reduce the debt levels it is carrying. Reducing this burden will allow the airport to reduce prices and attract airlines. Unless the debt is reduced, the ability of the airport to reach its full potential will not be delivered. The reason Cork Airport was not made an independent airport, in my view, was because of the debt that it would have to carry would not make it a commercially viable entity. That is acceptable and fair enough to those of us who think and are passionate about Cork Airport. But the airport should not be expected to operate under the restricted umbrella of the DAA and still be subject to the same debt levels as if it was an independent airport carrying the full debt. Across the country, businesses are dealing with the consequences of over-borrowing and borrowings made in a market that no longer exists. Borrowings that have to be repaid at a time when incomes have fallen. In this regard, Cork Airport is dealing with the same problems that continue to affect so many parts of our economy. I hope that the Development Council will be the catalyst that will enable Cork Airport to grow so that it can reach its full potential. We do have a fantastic staff who work there, who are committed. We saw with the staff members who were serving on the board of directors, who were passionate about the airport, who represented their members' interests well, but saw the bigger picture of Cork Airport when they were there. And I do hope that the input of people from outside the DAA group will facilitate a detailed consideration of how to restructure the debt at Cork Airport so it does not continue to be a heavyweight, preventing the airport attaining its obvious potential. I know, Minister, I focused on Cork in my presentation, but being from the second city and being passionate about the airport, it is one that we must allow to be debated in this chamber. And I would hope that we would have a wider debate about the use of and the growth of Cork Airport. And I would hope that within the aviation section that there would be an honest debate about Cork Airport. And it does rankle, Minister, with people in Cork and the area surrounding Cork Airport when they see other airlines coming into other airports and offering a wide range of routes, when all of us must be and have one objective: to grow and develop Cork Airport so that it can offer choice to the business community and to tourism sectors, and also to passengers who want to come in and out of Cork Airport. Can I just finish by one other reference, not to Cork Airport, Lascancora, which is in regard to section 44 of the bill, and I want to commend the Minister regarding the issue of dazzling in terms of the offence created in the bill. I think it is important that we protect our pilots, our air traffic controllers, because it is of concern that there has been incidents regarding the use of laser beams at some of our airports. And I was stunned, Minister, from talking to people in regard to this in the airport industry, where there was a wide range of reports of this offence occurring. I think it is important that this is put into the law, and I commend you for that. Can I just finally, Minister, this may very well be your last bill before the reshuffle, but if it is, and you are moved, I want to commend you for the work that you've done in this area. And if I may, Lascancora, just in regard to Cork Airport. I hope he's not moved now, because he's very good for Cork Airport, and I want to commend him for that. But if it may well be his last bill, but if it is, I want to thank him for what he's done on behalf of Cork Airport, and hope that if he remains in office, Deputy Dooley, that he will prioritise Cork Airport, because we are the second city. It is the most, of all our airports, the greatest potential in terms of the population base that we can serve. And I'll conclude in this. You can get to Cork Airport faster from the Red Cow than you can from any other part of the country. In terms of Shannon, it's a more accessible and better accessible than Dublin Airport as well. And it's got a great passenger experience. And you know, the city of Cork is a great place, Deputy Dooley, to come and stay if you're flying out of Cork Airport in the morning. A wide range of activities in Cork City. The tourism potential in Cork is vast. And if you want to look at bringing people to visit for shopping, for the cuisine that is there, for the nightlife or the entertainment, it's fantastic. And even for the sport, and the Munster final on the 6th and 13th of July will show that Cork is the place to be. But what we need is an airport that is vibrant, that is the support of all of us. And what we need is an airport. What we need is an airport that is vibrant and that is commercially active. And Minister, you've done a lot of great work, and I commend you for that, and I commend the bill. But I do hope that Cork won't be forgotten or lost, and that Cork will be prioritised post the bill. Thank you.